and pass our partner's guard. So make sure when you're working for your initial entry, whether you're going knee cut or you're going same side knee, you're focusing on lowering your level, staying low, and occupying the space between their knees, using your forearms and your knees in order to be able to get close enough to start to pass the guard. So we've said that closing this gap is can be a bit nerve-wracking. Sometimes you feel like your partner their legs and arms are like the blades of a fan, and it's your job to kind of step right into that. So we've talked about level changing and creating off balancing to make that initial inside step a lot easier. What happens when your partner's playing a guard that's super tight here, okay? It's clear that they don't want you to pass to the inside position. So if Chris mimics that position here, like everything is really tight, and you feel like even though your head is here, you're posting, it's not that easy. One option, of course, is to pass to the outside. The tighter he is here, the more jealously he guards this, the easier it is for us to run around and create an angle. Okay, so that's always an option. But if what we want to do is pass to the inside, then stepping is not really an option anymore. So what are we going to do? When we're here and Chris is playing nice and tight, I'm going to take my rear leg, and instead of stepping the foot to the inside, I'm going to step the foot here and drop the knee. Okay, so this is almost like I'm feeding him a kind of like a half guard. Okay, it's almost what it looks like. When you get this close to your partner, you'll notice that something happens. It's hard for your partner to stop you once your knee goes to the inside from using your head and your upper body to push them back a little bit. And so this angle is what we're looking for. Once we step and start crowding our partner, from here we can pop that knee back up and dominate the inside position using, in this case, the right forearm and the left hand. You'll notice elbows are in, and now from here we're ready to start our passing sequences. Okay, so from a different angle, we want to gain inside position, but we just feel like our partner is so defensive here. They're dominating the space, and we don't want to pass to the outside. So we're going to give a little push. Look how the right foot is going to step forward, and then we're going to drop the knee. The left leg is going to step. As Chris goes to recover this position, we bring forearms inside, step that leg up, and now from here, rotate just a little bit here. Now from here, we have the knee on the inside. Okay, we're in a place where we can start to clear reverse de la Riva. We can move our body across to the outside and start passing in that direction. Anytime you feel like your partner is playing particularly defensively against this sort of inside position, you're just going to drop a knee. Worst case scenario here, when I drop my knee, Chris starts to play a kind of half guard or half butterfly guard. And then from this position, we can prop ourselves up into the split squat and start to work. Okay, so the only kind of issue here is if you're approaching kind of tentatively. All right, what we want to do is once we drop that knee and we have our partner starting to adjust and beginning to attack, we're looking to get that leg back up and starting to put our knee, shoulders, forearms, and head inside that space so we can dominate the space and then start to move forward into a better pass. Let's begin by looking at a double inside position, which is a situation where we have both of our shins and both of our legs inside our partner's open guard. Why is this so important to understand? Well, as we've been saying throughout the course of this video, understanding inside position is really very, very important, not just in terms of passing the guard, but really all facets of jiu-jitsu. Then understanding how to do the knee elbow escape is an understanding of inside position. Understanding how to do the clamp is an understanding of inside position. Understanding of establishing a bicep tie is inside position. So inside position occurs over and over again. And when we're guard passing, we have more or less, there are a few different kind of categories, but basically there's inside guard passing where we're working between our partner's knees, and outside guard passing where we're moving around the outside of our partner's legs. So a classic example of outside guard passing would be Toreando, camping. Inside guard passing would be something like a knee cut. And so we're covering in this video more or less focusing on inside passing. If you can dominate the space between your partner's knees, then you're going to have a very, very good way of controlling them, restricting their mobility, decreasing their flexibility, putting pressure on them, and ultimately getting at least one, if not both, of your knees past their hip line. As someone who has been smaller and a bit less athletic than many of the people that I've trained with throughout the years, I've found that inside passing, because it affords a connection and it gets you off on the right foot, so to speak, where you've got one leg already kind of wedged between your partner's knees, has been a very, very effective way of overcoming some deficits in my own guard passing. Outside passing is amazing, and there are plenty of different things that you can do there to enhance your ability to kind of appear more athletic and to overcome even someone who's stronger and faster than you. But once you understand how inside position works, it makes your life so much easier. So we're going to begin by looking at how we can establish not just one leg on the inside, but both. And in doing so, put a tremendous amount of pressure on our partner. So we'll talk about the entry, but let's just look quickly at what we're trying to do. When we step a leg to the inside, usually we have one leg in, one leg out. Okay, that's to say that one leg is either on our partner's right-hand side or on our partner's left-hand side. Usually we don't want to have both of our legs on the inside because it's too easy for our partner to either cross their feet and bind our knees. If he gets a hold of my wrists now, he's going to start to knock me out of balance and come up on top. Or he can simply drive his hips up, climb his legs over my knees, and go back to the closed guard. And now we've gone from a position where we have some kind of inside space that we're occupying and our partner's legs are here to one where his feet are crossed and we've got to go through all of the work of untangling our partner's legs. However, if we can establish an inside position where we keep our partner's legs below our knees, and we use not just our legs but our upper body as well, we can fill the space occupied by our partner's knees, this kind of inside position, in such a way where it makes it very, very difficult for him to operate. It kind of forces Chris to work at the limits of his flexibility. So what we're trying to do is take one leg behind the knee at the hamstring and the other leg very close on the opposite side behind the knee and at the hamstring. Then we support this inside position with our forearms. We put our hands right above our partner's pelvis. You can even rest your hands on your partner's rib cage. You connect your elbows and your knees, okay? Your elbows are actually slightly outside your knees, and then your head is forward here. When we're here, it seems like a bit awkward, right? It seems kind of like you're at risk of getting taken directly overhead. But actually, Chris doesn't have much that he can do. If he does pull me forward, he brings me deeper into this inside position. My legs are still splitting his legs, okay? It's almost like you're forcing your partner to do the splits here. The right knee in this case is down. If he brings his other leg up, now his leg is shelved and there's no way for him to recover. From here, we can start to knee cut. We can drive our knee one way. We can drive our legs the other way. You're in a very, very strong position where your partner's mobility is limited. Now, when he starts to go to push and frame and all of these things, you can bring your head forward, look to gain underhooks, and now start to work to get chest to chest. Once you're there, it's all about freeing your lower body. All right, and that job is much easier when your two legs are on the inside. So what we're looking to do is create a situation where our two legs are on the inside. We want to take our knees slightly outwards. So we don't want to turn our knees inwards like this. We want to have our knees slightly outwards. Then we want to have our hands here on our partner's hips or on the rib cage. We're going to use our forearms to push our partner's knees outward. And we're going to use our shins to also kind of frame in this outwards direction. Look how the head is not up. I'm not looking at his sternum. Okay, I don't want to have my head too high. From here, I feel like if he does go to lift, I'm going to be a bit out of balance. Once that happens, there's no more pressure on his legs. So we're going to bring our head low. Hips high, head low here, and we're going to be pushing with our forearms. What will happen is your partner will eventually have to choose a side. They're in a bit of a dilemma here. Chris can't stay with tension in his body in this neutral position, this symmetrical position. Go to play from here for a second. He's got to move his hips out to one side. And when that happens, it gives you a choice between cutting your knee across to the inside, as we're going to see, or dropping the knee on the same side and then working your way through to a chest-to-chest position. We call this double inside because rather than just one leg on the inside, it's both of your legs on the inside. And you can establish a bit of a camping style from here, forcing your partner to give you reactions that will allow you to move either to your right side or to your left side. In some cases, you can even drive directly straight overhead. So this is just an introduction of what the position looks like. Now let's take a look at how we enter it from the outside, standing versus seated. So let's put together some of the essential skills we've talked about, some of the principles that we've talked about, and then this idea of gaining inside position. We're started standing in front of a partner. He's in a seated position. We're going to lower our level, sitting. We're going to lower our level and keep our head forward to make it more difficult for our partner to get grips on our legs. We're going to step left leg out slightly, okay, to the side, and we're going to take a rear hand grip, posting on our partner's shoulder, with the goal of putting our partner's shoulders slightly behind their hips here. Okay, I want Chris to be a little bit out of balance. Then we're going to take a step with our right leg across here. The goal is to kind of force, almost like forcing a De La Riva position, right? We kind of want to get this response. You're going to take your left hand, you're going to put it right here on your partner's shin, and then you're going to step your left leg back, step it forward once again, and claim this position here where our shin is connected to our partner's hamstring like this. Then the right leg is going to step laterally. You're going to open it up until you are wider than shoulder width between your partner's legs like this. Your posture is important. If you're upright like this, there's nothing stopping him from climbing his knees, okay, or pummeling his legs here. All right, so we don't want that. So we've got to occupy this space. When you bring your head low, take your hands on the hips and flare your forearms. Now, when Chris goes to pummel his legs inside, it's impossible. There's no way to do it. If he wants to stay here, it's also difficult. I'm going to bring my head forward. I can even place it here on his sternum. Okay, if Chris is posting, pushing, then from here, we're just going to make a decision about which way to go. For now, we're going to simply drop our left knee down to the mat. As Chris goes to push and frame and all of these things, that's fine. We're going to allow this top leg to come through so we can land in a situation where we have left